watch what's approaching. The supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
You know, Dokkan Battle has evolved a lot when they actually give this guy an Extreme Z Awakening. The fact that the very first SSR in the game gets an extremely, well, I wouldn't say extremely good, but a good enough Extreme Z Awakening really signifies how much has changed. I mean, for those that have been around for a long time, I mean, you guys know how this guy was previously, before the EZA, and the vast improvement that came with it is pretty tremendous. So the fact that, you know, it is the very first SSR that came out on the very first banner in Dokkan Battle, I mean, it's just come a long way. So, you know, it's definitely a good direction in how things are going, and yeah, we'll see how things go from here on out in terms of what kind of units get improvements. So, as always, let's cover the stats, and I might actually compare it to what it previously was, but we'll first start off by talking about how the stats currently improved too. So, leader skill is all types Ki +3, HP attack and defense increase of 40% for the super agility Super Saiyan Goku unit. Leader skill obviously isn't that relevant, but it is useful in that Extreme Z area. But at that point, I don't know if you fully have him easy 8. I don't know if you necessarily need to go back in, but we'll find out if all the extra stages with, you know, Trollheim and Piccolo are requiring the same types of teams or not, but we'll see how that is. In terms of the super attack, it's the ability to cause supreme damage with a medium chance to stun the enemy, so decent enough improvement there. I mean, it went from extreme damage to supreme, and then rare chance to medium chance, so it's obviously a pretty good improvement. The passive is where the most improvements came from, in my opinion. I mean, with the new EZA, you're looking at attack and defense increase of 77%, and then Ki +7 plus an additional attack and defense increase of 77% when HP is 77% or below. A lot of 77s on here, but yeah, it's quite different, because prior to this, it was simply a Ki +7 when HP is 50% or below, so no attack or defense boost whatsoever. And the fact that you have a pretty good percentage-based increase with all the conditions met, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah, it's made this unit much better. Obviously went from an outdated, useless unit into a relevant unit in some regards. So yeah, pretty good overall. In terms of links, you've got the First Awakened 25% to attack Super Saiyan is 10% to attack Saiyan Warrior Race is 700 to attack Golden Warriors +1 key enemies defense -2000. Kamehameha is 2500 when SA is launched. Blazing Battle is attack increase of 15%, and then Shattering the Limit is +2 key. 4 categories for this unit: Pure Saiyans, Goku's family, Super Saiyans, and Kamehameha. So with the EZA 100% potential, you're looking at stats of 16,093 for HP, 14,773 for attack, and defense is 10,071. The only complaint I do have about this unit is I wish they had updated or improved his 12 Ki Multiplier a little bit. It's still at 115%, so it's a little bit on the low side, but you know, everything else is a vast improvement. And I think the fact that this unit does have a medium chance to stun on top of a pretty damn good attack and defense increase more than makes up for it. So I think with that in mind, I mean, this unit could definitely do okay on a variety of team setups. I mean, obviously for this showcase it's on Goku's family, but you know, even on Super Saiyans, Pure Saiyans, and Kamehameha categories, this guy could potentially be pretty decent. I think the biggest added value for this unit would probably be on settings where, you know, that 77%, I guess ×2, depending on the conditions met, would actually be beneficial on top of the ability for a medium chance to stun the enemy. I mean, a medium chance is still not as high. I mean, it's you know, 30% equivalent, I believe. Yeah, it's a 30% equivalent, so it's still decent enough. Like for the best example I can give you is the recent EZA for the Strength Type Super Saiyan Gotenks unit. That unit has a 50%, or not 50%, but medium chance to stun the enemy, and you know, with the focus on additional attacks, that unit's able to pull off stunning enemies quite often. So, well, not quite often, but often enough is probably the best way to put it. So, I definitely see value with the medium chance. It's not quite to the degree of a high chance, obviously, but medium chance is still good enough. So I think, in all honesty, potential level wise, I think it's probably better going with like level 14 additional attack and level 12 criticals. I like personally, I would like to leave a little bit more levels toward crits, have a decent enough to where it activates often enough, but also a little bit more focus on additional attack, because of the passive is so good, especially when HP is 77% or below. You can get his attack stats decently up there. And medium chance of stunning the enemy, obviously additional attacks increases the odds of activating that as well. So yeah, I mean, and on top of that, the links are pretty straightforward. Obviously you have the first awaken, that is a pretty big boost overall, 25% increase to attack. So depending on what category you run, there are a few units that do have that link skill. So of course, like, some of the units are on have this link skill that you don't necessarily want to pair up. I mean, you could technically run this guy with LR Goku, the OG LR Goku or LR Piccolo. They obviously have it, but I don't know if you necessarily want to, because they themselves need improvement. They're starting to get a little bit outdated in a sense. You've got other units like the Tech Super Saiyan Bardock, or even Ultra Instinct Goku. Super Saiyan 3 Bardock obviously is a pretty good one because of the overall skill sets he brings. The Super Saiyan God Goku, I guess the old school one with the EZA, also has one. Physical type Super Saiyan Bardock obviously has a supporting passive and also shares that link. So there's a fair amount of units with that link set, but again, it's 25%, so it does tend to make a little bit of a difference. So you definitely kind of want to factor it in a little bit when team building. Outside of that, even if you don't focus on that, just for the 25%, you could still find other options of supporting type units. Like this unit does have Super Saiyan and Shattering the Limit amongst like other links, so you're never going to run into an issue where this unit is not going to link up well. Especially, I mean, if you run this guy with other Super Saiyans, obviously, is probably the best way to go about it. But even with a Kamehameha link, you could, and Shattering the Limit, I mean, Shattering the Limit is always useful to have, because it's always going to guarantee you +2 Ki if you link it up with other units that have the same link scope. I find, Ki links equally as important as attack or defense boosting links. I mean, you definitely want to balance between the two, but Shattering the Limit, obviously any Dokkan Awaken units outside of the ones that have Fierce Battle will have that, so it's common enough to where it's never an issue, basically. But yeah, I mean, overall this guy is doing pretty decent. Now, I don't think he's gonna replace anybody necessarily in terms of your best team by all means, but he's a good enough. I mean, I think it's more or less like a tribute, right, to the classic units in the game. I mean, this guy was the first SSR in the game, so the fact that you have a use for him, you could essentially use him if you wanted to, basically. I think that really just culminates essentially what this was, and his overall skill sets are good. It's just not good enough to replace any of the top tier units, obviously. That's probably the best way to summarize it, in my opinion. But if you're a proud owner of this with all paths unlocked, and he was sitting in your deck because of how, for a lack of better words, useless he was previously, I think you might enjoy it a little bit in terms of throwing back to the old school days of Dokkan Battle and enjoying how things were running this guy. Because I mean, what was the leader skill prior to that? It was agility, intelligence, physical types, attack and defense increase to 30%. So like it really does remind you of the lack of Ki boosting leader skills back in the day, and we'll go into that whole discussion at some point because I have something in plan for that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and close out here, I guess, with the Dokkan mode attack. But definitely a good tribute for the very first SSR in the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later. All right, peace out.